Hello and good day to you all. Allow me to introduce myself. In the good old days when I had a lot of hair and I didn't have to wear glasses, I would have said my name is Bond, James Bond, but I'm sad to say for you it's Moore, Roger Moore, and I am privileged to be a Goodwill Ambassador for UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund. I'm delighted to be able to talk to you today. I am only sorry that I'm not there actually in person to say thank you. Thank you to Amway and the independent business owners for their most generous support of UNICEF. That is a wonderful amount of money that you are giving us. Now together we can and have accomplished many things. It is just 50 years ago since UNICEF appointed the first ever Goodwill Ambassador. That of course was Danny Kaye. Now this came about because Maurice Pate, who was the then boss of UNICEF, was traveling on a plane sitting next to Danny Kaye, and Danny got into conversation with him, and he, naturally, Maurice Pate, knew what Danny did, but Danny was curious about Maurice Pate's work and more curious about the work of UNICEF. And he became one of the most extraordinary ambassadors UNICEF had. I think that all the ambassadors, apart from me, have been exceptional, particularly the most extraordinary lady, Audrey Hepburn, who brought me into UNICEF some 14 years ago. Audrey was a neighbor in Switzerland, and she called me and she asked me to help out with something for children. Now, Audrey asks you to do something, it was an order, and I did it with the greatest of pleasure. She then asked me a year or so later if I would consider coming to Amsterdam to co-host the Danny Kaye International Children's Awards, a television program that was going throughout the world for talented children. I said, yes, of course. When is it? She said, I think it was May the 7th. I said, fine, I'll be May the 7th, I'll be there. She said, no, you come on May the 6th. I said, why? She said, because I want you at a press conference. I said, Audrey, I do not know enough about UNICEF to handle a press conference. She said, don't worry. They only want to talk about movies. And she was right. They did, but she would not let them. She only wanted to talk about children, children's problems, and how we, as UNICEF ambassadors, can help them, and how people like yourselves can help financially. And so we, in a sense, are the spokespersons for children. Children have a right to be heard, but their voices, we quite often say, are too weak to be heard. And so they need an adult to speak for them. We have to speak for them. We owe them the world. They've only loaned it to us, and they're entitled to be cared for in the best way possible. They're entitled to have a name when they're born. They're entitled to be educated. They're entitled to good health. They're entitled to access to safe drinking water, education. All these things cost money, and that's where you come in. It's where governments come in, and it's where individuals come in. UNICEF is a branch of the United Nations, but it is not supported financially by the United Nations. We are supported purely by governments and people like yourself. Voluntary contributions. I'm often asked, well, with these contributions, what happens? Out of $1, for example, $1 that is raised, given to UNICEF, how much actually goes to work for the children? Well, I can tell you that is between 9 and 10%. 9 to 10 cents actually goes in administration, and 90%, that's 90 cents of every dollar, actually goes to work for the children. 80% of UNICEF workers are in the field. We have 7,000 UNICEF workers. This is apart from volunteers, 7,000 working in over 157 countries. But we need money. We need your assistance. And that's why I am so grateful, and all of us in the UNICEF family are grateful to you for your wonderful generosity. But please, don't let it stop just at 500,000 euros. There is next year, and the year after, and the year after that. Thank you. Remember, the most important thing in life is to save the life of a child. And there are so many of them. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful conference. And save a glass for me. Thank you.